Hello, and welcome to the stream. This is a Week 1 match between Division 6 team No Mercy and Quackers, and I am Energy Being, and co-hosting with me today is Dude. Say hello to everybody.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Basically, we're here today to do a cast between teams No Mercy and Quackers, Division 6, who are made up of basically a pretty big group of friends that ended up splitting into two separate teams because they had too many people interested in playing this time. And I think should make for an interesting matchup between both of them. We do know that one side is a bit more competitive than the other one, being the Quackers team, and we will see if they can, get in there, make the plays, and win the match regardless. Should be fun. Hello, and thank you for following.
Yeah, it's a pretty much echo what you said as well. We were speaking to Natsukage, who's the captain of the No Mercy side, earlier on in the week, and he did give us a little bit of an insight into just a couple of the members who are on the side of Quackers and how they're going to be coming in this game. Being a large group of friends, but having some friends who are a bit more competitive than others, is really going to make this not only just a home derby, but on top of that, it will also just be a very competitive series between the guys.
Yeah, should make for a pretty fun match. We do know that we have some that we need to look out for more than, well, we've been informed that there are some that we need to be looking out for a bit more than others. Those being Quackers for sure on Quackers' side. Also, let's see who else. I am not used to hosting this stuff.
No, definitely not. We are just making sure to get the maps ready for guys. They've asked us to actually make the room this time round, which is a completely fair thing to ask as well. So we're just going to get that sorted and make sure that everything is in place. So to quickly go over everything, the settings that we're going to be using are going to be the competitive rule set.
We also will have, no kill cam because that makes sense for this. We don't want anybody knowing, how much ult charge the enemy team has. And there's also like a few other things like best of 5 for control point maps if they come up. The neutral map for this week is a control point map, so that needs to be added in just in case it comes to that. But in most of our experience with this tournament, it usually goes 2-0. So if we get to that point, I'll consider ourselves lucky for having cast that long and being able to cast a team that is able to come back from the brinks of defeat, win another match, and get to that final showdown. But hey.
And yeah, as you say, looking at the series so far, and just what we had yesterday, we did actually get so close to going over to the full best of 3, but unfortunately the tiebreaker was the thing that really sorted that one out for us, which, I don't know, it was a good tiebreaker, but we haven't had that best of 3 just yet, so I'm really hoping we do get to see it go to full 3 games.
Yeah. It'll be a really good time if we can get down to that. If we don't, I really just want to see a good series from both of the teams, have some nice, friendly competition between friends, and hopefully have them not be angry at each other later about that.
Yeah. Definitely. And just to quickly go over everything, if you'd be able to quickly check the settings for me, Energy Being, just to make sure that we do have everything up and ready to go. We do also know that coming into this series that Mercy's Angels have prepared a couple of new strategies to go up against Quackers with. So we're going to be seeing not only the fact that these two teams know each other very well and personally, but on top of that, they're actually going all out to make sure that they get the victory here, which is going to be big considering this is just week 1 of the full tournament so far. Definitely looking forward to see how they manage it. Another thing that we did pick up on is that these two teams do actually scrim with one another quite often, so they will know the playstyles of each other, and they're going to be going through and possibly looking out for certain players. We have also been told one of the people to actually look out for is going to be the tanks from the side of Quackers. So something I always like to see considering a tank main myself. So if we can see some great plays coming from those, fantastic already.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun series. We're going to have a lot of, friendly competitiveness, hopefully friendly competitiveness. I am totally down for two groups of people, trash talking each other the entire time as well. But still, should be fun, and it looks like the first map that we're going into is Volskaya Industries, which I'm surprised anybody would choose as their home map, because most people do not really seem to like those sorts of things. So, interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they play and try and capture that first point, because if you can get that first point, usually you can kind of move into the second point pretty well, get in there, and just take it. But
And obviously with Volskaya, it's one of those double assault maps where, when it comes to it, people don't like the potential of having. And this is one of those maps which is famous for it. So, considering it looks like we've got everything ready in the lobby, I'm just going to quickly go for a ready check from both sides, and hopefully we'll be getting into game as soon as we possibly can.
hopefully so.
Of course, we are all here and we are ready, and we're just gonna wait on these team members. But just to quickly go over these guys, well, speaking to them earlier in the week, what did you really pick up on about the team style that's coming out of these guys? Because everyone seems to be very friendly with one another.
Yeah, it seems like, honestly, it just seems like they're both pretty good at the game. They're having a fun time going into this. I don't know, like, too much about how they're going to match up with each other, how they're going to try and counter each other's picks. We know in No Mercy that they have, a good Mercy player. They have Farah, who plays pretty frequently. They usually will go with, main tanks like Reinhardt and things to go in with them. But, Quackers could come in, try and trick them up, trip them up, know what they do going into scrims, and come at them with other game types or other... not game types, but other team types or picks to really counter these things. They could come in with a Soldier and McCree combo to try and take the far out of the sky, or they could just, turtle up and go for that full defensive hold on all of the maps that they're in. And, no matter how they come into it, as long as they pull it off, as long as they have a certain amount of skill in, ability to play their characters, they shouldn't have too many problems.
And of course, as you say, going for that full hold, we did say earlier that Mercy's Angels have prepared a few hidden strategies going into this series. So we could be seeing something cheesy come out, and I really want to see what those hidden strategies are. If we're going to see the Torbjorn Symmetra, I'm not really sure how it's going to work on the respect side, but...
I am totally down for that. There is that medal in the tournament this season for, on attack, going Torbjorn, Symmetra, and Bastion, and if you win that round that you're playing Torbjorn, Symmetra, and Bastion, you will get one of the medals for this tournament, which, honestly, if anybody can do that, props to them. That'll be a really interesting match to cast.
Definitely, and also just another thing for the players. When I was speaking to Natsukage, he just basically said to me that these guys, they're not overly confident usually, but coming into this tournament, they've got that team, they have that synergy, and they are ready to go. And he believes that they not only can win the league, but they want to do it without a loss. So fighting talk coming out of him, and this is going to be, if anything, the game of their season to prove it.
Yeah, it should be a real nice, competitive spirit between these two. We always like to see things go down, have people playing at their best, friendly competition or trash talking competition, because those are oftentimes the best, even if I can't show the in-game chat on the stream. So yeah.
There is a little bit of trash talk coming out, and it's great to see, actually, especially for friendly games and friendly rivalries. It's something that does push the spirit of competition forward, and it makes sure that these guys are going to be actually improving together, which is something that we saw yesterday from the home derby of the diversity teams. We saw Origin play against Identity, and when they played, we did also get to pick up on the fact that they both play alongside one another as teams. They both scrim together, and on top of that, they make sure that they're all improving together, which is something that these guys are going to be doing as well.
Yeah. They look like they're really ready to go, and I think we're about to go into game. So, yeah. Looks like everybody's ready.
Just going to quickly get that extra confirmation. We do have a confirmation from Quackers. Everybody is ready to go. We're hyped up and we are ready to go in a best of 3 series. And of course, as you say, if it does go to full 3 games, we'll also be heading over to this week's tiebreaker map, which will be Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal is definitely one of the more hated control point maps, but it's always like a really fun time to watch it go on. I am totally down with watching that. I love watching control point maps and how people come in after each round and try and readjust to see if they can win back that next point or to see if they can keep that win going. Like, a lot of teams will just go in, test out a comp, and then they'll come back later and they will change if they lose a map, or they'll stick with the same if they think that they can keep that win streak going. And one of the reasons why I love control point maps so much is because it has that sort of dynamic. It has the dynamic where people will be switching picks in the middle of the game, where people will be switching team comps coming into the next map in the next round, and that is a great amount of fun for me to cast. It's amazing to watch people, trying to puzzle out how to take advantage of the enemy team's comp.
And of course, yeah, that's another thing that we do see coming out from all of the divisions now. Last season, there was a slight issue with teams not really switching up their compositions as much as they possibly should have. But this time round, we did get to see firsthand yesterday that even the lower divisions now are actually responding to team compositions, and they're executing counter strategies that are put in place as well. If we can see that coming out of Division 6, which both of these teams are currently in, we'll probably be having a very competitive one on again, as we're heading over into the lovely bit of Russia called Volskaya Industries.
This is, well, it's not a fun map to play on too much, but it is a very interesting map. There are, a lot of different ways that you can attack this first point, and there are different ways that people will do this generally in the lower divisions. Like this match, you'll see people coming in through the front, going around one of the sides to get straight onto the point. In the higher divisions, you will see people go up through the sides, try and get onto the high ground, either through the left or the right bunker, get up there and take the fight up there, use the height advantage to take it down to people on the point or across onto the high ground. We probably will be seeing a lower hold, right at the choke from these teams, I think, to just get this started.
And of course, speaking of getting it started, we do have the compositions already lined up. From the side of Quackers, we did get to see a flash of the Hanzo, but it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing them, as they're going to be on the attack this time round. But it could be interesting to see if we do get Twizzart playing that Junkrat.
I mean, Junkrat's a really fun pick. I have a love-hate relationship with him because everybody, really has some problems with him usually when they're playing on a team with him, but he does so much damage, and when you can coordinate that well, dang.
Oh my goodness, already 2 boops coming off, so that's going to be one Lucio off the side in a trade for the Zarya as well, but everybody's starting to break through this choke point now. Emerald Sun is going to get the Diva pick almost instantly with that Reinhardt charge, so both teams now vying once again for position on the choke point. Natsukage once again just keeping everyone topped off here, but this is a difficult choke point to break.
Looks like we have Dane on this Genji going up, trying to get some poke damage. Really, they just need to break through this point. They need to get in there as soon as they can.
Dane, one of those members of the team who's hyper-competitive, so he's going to be trying to prove a lot today coming into this. Doctor will get the intro pick on the defense here, though, as that's going to be the Mercy from the side of Quackers going down. Everybody breaking onto the point as Reinhardt's going to be smacking everyone around before he's taken down by that Pharah. Just not before he gets that Diva mech, and Botman, using that defensive Genji, does manage to take down Twizzart and also finish off Shadow Guard in the background as well. This will still be Pharah up in the air before being taken out of the skies by that Zarya laser. Doctor finishes off the defense once again with those Helix rockets, and Botman still going in there, proving he's trying to be the better Genji and taking off Dane with a couple of shurikens to the head.
Oh, and Doctor getting one last kill. That is really going to stall the next push. You can't really push when you don't have a main healer going into it. honestly, the team fight so far has been a little bit messy. I think No Mercy has been coordinating a little bit better, coming back at Quackers' team, just, taking it at their pace and fighting in their own positions. And really, that is what they'll be wanting to do with defense, fighting from a position that they have advantage, fighting in a way that helps them.
They're just going to rush it instead. This will be the death ball going in with Lucio breaking it down to start everything off. Tricks that will respond with his rocket barrage does go down, but he's taken straight out of the sky as Doctor going to use that tactical visor. Gets traded off by Twizzar. Now this is going to be going into the red as Leexliet does get that res off. Botman managing to get the slice. Uses that Dragon Blade. Gets another kill for himself. Doctor coming through with the fight, and Decone is going to trade off Twizzar, but Dane gets one pick before having to retreat once again as Doctor picks that Farah out of the sky with the fly swatter known as Soldier 76.
Doctor is doing an incredible job, and when Dane is on fire, he's really getting some work done. I think that with some time or with some team group and coordination, he could get in there and get some more picks. But it might not have enough time to really get this going. They do only have 1 more minute to attack this first point, and I don't know if it continues how it has been going, if they will be able to get there.
One thing to note, before we're going to go straight in, we're not going to know anything as getting the introductory pick once again. High Noon or Ace it, well, whatever it is. Dane gonna be using that ultimate, tries to find some picks, just using it for zone at the second. That will be a Graviton Surge though, going in with the Diva. Self-destruct, gets 1 kill. Doctor 153 kills Dane straight out of the sky, straight again, and this will be Emerald Sun using that shield, trying to keep the defense up. Quacker's gonna be very annoying inside point, but he's not gonna get taken down as Botman's gonna be forced to slice and dice around and try and find something. But he's going to have to use the blade for this, not finding a kill just yet as 2 go down, and this will be the final pick, possibly the full hold still coming through. 55.2% on this board.
Oh
the
my
res
god!
Will come out from Leexliet. Shadow Guard gets back into that mech. Still, the fight is going on here, however, and it looks like Red is going to swarm of a point as Quackers are going to get on this point, finish the fight.
No Mercy's
off,
coming
and
back,
then,
though.
Oh, Natsukage tries to go for the hero play, but he's going to get hooked out and executed by a revolver.
It's good that the Reinhardt ran back, because you don't want to get caught out right now. You can get overwhelmed if you get, 1 or 2 men down. But that was just so close to him getting back there. I don't think that they should have fought it.
Perhaps trying to find an extra stall to come out, but they don't get anything for defending extra in overtime. But we're going to go straight into another death ball onto the second point. 2 people, 3 people managing to get on, and it looks like No Mercy are going to be routed here. Trix that's forced to use his ultimate on that Lucio, but this will be Dane using that Deadeye to get 1 responsive kill. Finishes off Botman as well as 4 people still swarming this point. No contest just coming through, and this will be the 2-0 with 3 minutes 10 seconds left on the board.
That is a lot of time. That is a lot more time than I was expecting. Natsukage was sitting off on the side at the end with the res ready. I think that he maybe should have just gone in on the point and held it. But we'll see. Going into this next fight, with how No Mercy was playing on that first defense point, they Quackers could have, their work cut out for them coming into this.
We do have to
sorry.
carry on.
Also, we do
cool.
have to keep in mind that they do have these, secret plays that we've been hearing about. It could be that they're doing, insane flanks or some cheese picks that we do not know about just yet. I am totally down to see that.
The composition locked in at the second doesn't seem to be allowing too much for the crazy flanks, but of course we do have to bear in mind as well that this is No Mercy's home map. And as Timu in the chat did also point out, Quackers are letting Soldier play too freely, but also from the same side, we're also seeing No Mercy give a lot of respect to Dane on that McCree pick.
They definitely are. Their McCree is doing a lot of work. Now that he's in there, warmed up, he's getting a lot of work done. When he was on the Genji, he was kind of poking a little bit. He did a decent ult once, I believe, but past that, like, it wasn't going so well. But as soon as he switched over to the McCree, he immediately started doing better. He immediately was getting more work done, and that first push that he was playing as McCree didn't really work out because his team wasn't, you know, grouped together as much, but the second one really went in there with that Mercy Rez. They were able to get that point back, and it was some very good team play from his side. And if they can bring that into this next round, they will probably be able to hold off No Mercy.
We do also see Twizzar is going to lock in the Symmetra pick, going to get that extra stalling potential coming out of Symmetra. Those turrets are of course very annoying, but everybody has bypassed them going through the outside rather than getting anything else. That's going to be a Fire Strike engaging this fight as Botman does get a pick onto Dane straight away. Turrets have been spotted and Botman is going to get healed up. Make sure he stays alive through this. Emerald Sun and Doctor getting picks of their own as everyone's broken into this point now. They've managed to get the flank through balcony as we're going to be going in. That's going to be Lucio getting a lot of damage down onto Shadow Gardener. Doctor to finish him off, and a very clean execution on first point here.
I think that is going to be the point. If Quackers comes in and tries to contest it, I think it's just going to be a bad idea for them. Looks like the 2 DPS from No Mercy are going to move forward and try and rain down some damage immediately, rushing into that point.
Very good play coming through to secure that first point. 7 minutes left on the clock as Doctor's going to get hooked in, but the heals are going to keep him topped off. Emerald Sun rushing through onto this point. They cannot contest a death ball as Quackers are being routed, taken down, and taken out of the equation. Fullerhain will try to find some picks back as Dane has warmed himself back up. That's going to be McCree getting 1 kill, but Botman still contesting for everyone. Natsukage will go out of the fight, and it does look like Quackers will be holding this point here, but that was such an aggressive first push.
That was such a good play from all of them. In the end, it kind of fizzled out a little bit, but they were all doing so well. Doctor has so much free reign in this fight. It's crazy. When he gets in there, he gets like 1 or 2 kills immediately, and then they take the fight to the enemy team. It's been a strategy that's working out really good for them as this goes on.
Something we don't usually get to see from solo queue teams especially. Usually you want to rush in, get onto that point as quickly as possible and just deathball it. But these guys are going to be doing that perfectly, as opposed to what we'd usually see. Dane does get a pick onto Emerald Sun there, so this is going to be one less member from No Mercy. Going to be going in for the fight still. We have breached that checkpoint, and we're going to make sure that we're trying to find anything further. This will be the Tac Visor now coming down, taking Twizzar out of the equation straight away as Botman getting a kill for himself. Will try to hold this defense a little bit more, does get 2 picks of his own to even this out. Trick set coming in now. I hear heroes never die, and that's going to be people up on the air, but they're going straight back down onto the floor. Shadow Guard gets that Earth Shatter onto both of the healers. Botman will be taken out in the middle of his Dragon Blade as well. Another successful defense coming through from Quackers.
It has been a good hold so far. They really are taking it to them. The Mercy Rezes in this game are entirely on point from Quackers on defense. They're so good. Leah Sklert? I don't know. She's doing some very good healing, keeping herself out of the way, and these Rezes are just wonderful every single time they're coming out.
We'll just go with Leah for now. Maybe that can work a little bit easier for us as the point's going to be breached. Again, Dane gets the stun, he gets the pick. So once again, we're fighting at the disadvantage, but No Mercy are not going to be showing any of that, as that's Botman gets a kill for himself, evens up the score a little bit more. Shadow Guard forced to spin around and do a pirouette on that massive Reinhardt, but he's trying to shield everything off from the front. Gets the pick with the Fire Strike. That's Botman going down now, still trading very evenly across the board. We do see Emerald Sun trying to find a position where he can anchor himself for the team to follow in. Dr. 153 gets a pick, still very even. Deadeye now coming down, gets that first pick, and once again we're seeing the advantage on the side of Quackers. That will be a res coming through from Natsukage though, and breaking it down as Trickset's going to force this fight, and we're going to force that point a little bit more. 1, 2, 3 kills, Earth Shatter! Doctor gets the headshots down onto Twizzar as Fullerhain uses that whole hog, pushes Doctor off of the point and gets that execution flawlessly, but we still have the point contestation going. Quackers is not going to go down just yet, as that Zenyatta dealing a lot of damage. That will be another Zarya ultimate. there as Dane gets a pick for
another
himself.
Rez.
That's a Rez coming through again as Quackers are going to once again hold this point in such a dominant fashion.
Oh my God, these Rezes from Leah are crazy every single time. They're ending a fight every time with the Mercy Rez, and I know that the Mercy Rez is easy to charge at that point, but oh my God, seeing it that frequently is fairly rare.
But of course, when you are healing up these tanks so consistently, you have that persistent healing coming through from the Mercy, proving to do a lot of work, but at the same time charge that ult very quickly. 93% on that Tsukkage's ultimate at the second. Will be heading into a res from the side of No Mercy. Emerald Sun gets another pick to start this fight off, as No Mercy are going to start entering in once again. Botman getting the second pick as the Genji's dashing through the soldier, and that will be another pick as the Dragon Blade will be used. Both healers now going down. There's not going to be a res for this fight, as everyone's on that point. 5 members now. Fullerhane trying to find the entrance, trying to stall that point a little bit more, but this will be second checkpoint now. Twizzle jumping on. The stall is going to be here. That will be Trixet using the ultimate, and that will be the second point secured for No Mercy with 2 minutes 17 to spare.
Yeah, they have a little bit less time than the other team, but how they're both playing on this and how they both played on the first point, No Mercy may have a slight advantage because they did hold out that first point a little bit longer. They just really got taken down when it came into that second point. So it may come down to who's able to get the most percentage on the first point, or who can just take that first point in the first place.
And of course, with Volskaya, we did speak a little bit beforehand just about why teams tend to dislike this map. But if you could add a little bit more insight into it, with these choke points, what is the best way to breach in and get that quick take?
Well, generally you'll have a member of your team flanking or moving around. You can have, like, Afara fly above this choke point, do some poke, move around with her, you know, dispersing shot. Or you can have Genji or Diva or somebody else come along the side over the water, get to that point and touch it and have them, you know, try and pull back away from the point. Or you can just damage them from behind. If you do that, then maybe, you know, you can just trick them out, trick them to pull back, and then move in very hard. There are lots of different ways that you can do it. You can also brute force it, like we've been seeing them do, and that has been working out for them to an extent. If you can work together well as a team, then you can brute force it properly. Also, we have Twizzar on this Torbjorn with his turret set up to get some cheeky damage before the game starts.
We can already see him getting that 7% ult charge, but Trixet will take the turret down following that. Brilliant work to start off. One more turret will be coming up from Twizzle. Damage trading across the board as No Mercy going to be charging through. They managed to take car room here. Trixet will be the first one taken down, however. And now they're going to go behind. They're going to rush onto top balcony. As they're up here, they have all of walkway available to them. Quackers will be going aggressive as Botman takes down Twizzle's turret. Looking for the drop now as they have the high ground. It's over, Anakin. Looks like No Mercy are coming in. Doctor getting those Helix rockets, managing to get the first pick onto the turret. That's one thing that will not be available. Torbjorn not very effective just without that. Doctor and Fullerhane trading picks for each other here. Fullerhane does get the second onto Trixet, however, and this is still fairly even until that's going to be Dane once again using that McCree so excellently to manage to pick out Botman. They've got no choice here but to retreat back up onto the balcony as Dane gets the headshot onto Natsukage, and this will be Doctor forced to run away.
Timu in the chat. Ironically, No Mercy is having a problem countering their Mercy.
Yeah. It's always something that's quite difficult. Mercy is much more slippery than we usually give her credit for.
I mean, usually what you have to do is, like, in this case, you have Botman and Doctor who have, like, such powerful ultimates. You need to have one of them hold off the ultimate for the res after. You need to have somebody who can, like, completely clear out, like a Reinhardt with his hammer down, or Graviton for when the res comes back. Just something that will really deal with the enemy team properly.
Dragon Blade will be using
Oh,
this
man.
fight again. Deadeye will counter that, however. Ult for an ult, kill for a kill. Eye for an eye, two for a two for Fullahane does get Emerald Sun once again. Still stalling out this fight. Doctor trying to get extra damage out, does manage to find Twizzar's turret. He's trying to find some shots down on two.
Oh, but the res
Everybody else, the res does come through. The boop! Tricks it! Gets sent, sends Fullahane off the side of the map even. Doesn't send himself off. We will be seeing that Molten Core coming out of Torbjorn now, forced into overtime as Botman trying to wait that out, put a foot onto the point.
And the
now
res.
once again, Emerald Sun breaches himself in, does get taken very low out of this. That will be a full hold on the third round.
They couldn't get the first 33% either, so they don't have any percentage going into this. The next round, it needs to be Quackers taking 33% of the point. And if they can do that, they will win the first map of this series.
3 minutes 10 seconds remaining as well, and once again, to reiterate, this is No Mercy's home map.
This is. They are kind of being shown some dominance by Dane on that McCree pick. Now they've switched off to that, it's really going in the favor. And Leah, with that Mercy, is doing so much work. Every single team fight coming out with the res at choice times, making sure that her team is still alive to deal with everything when it comes down to it. You can't just leave that Mercy alone.
Another thing as well, on the side of No Mercy, we're going to be seeing Trick Set instead of the Lucio, which we've been seeing so prominently so far, or even the Zenyatta, going to be pulling out the Ana. Lots of healing available from the side of No Mercy, and it doesn't look like Quackers currently have anything locked in to get onto the backlines to find that Ana.
No, they don't. It looks like they're really just going to be kind of brute forcing this, using Dane's skill and Twizzar moving around with that Reaper. Maybe trying to dive the back, maybe not. But regardless, I think that they're just going to be forcing themselves through this first point and trying to just take one or two out so that they can get an easy entrance.
Easy entrances have been the name of the game, as we have been seeing everybody just breach this first choke point. Coming up to Truck now, as this is going to be Quackers trying to go straight in. They're going to go for main, not even going to go straight into car room, not even going to go into Volskaya offices either. Doctor does get this first pick. That'll be a Reinhardt charge. He's going to be countered out by that Roadhog hook, however. Shield does come through for him, keeping alive a little bit longer. Dane, Twizzar getting kills of their own. Fullahane is going purple, but he's still alive. Botman getting hooked in, executed. Decone does get a kill as a trade, however. Still advantage in the side of Quackers, and this is starting to get heavy as Botman decides to pull his finger out and get 2 kills for himself. Decone also trading off another member as Shadow Guard is taken down. Successful first hold coming through from No Mercy.
Yeah, for most of this map, Decone hasn't really been doing much visibly that we could see, but now they're really pulling out all the stops, getting that high energy and killing so many people. I want to see more Zarya plays come out of her. She does have her ult now, so they can stop an entire push with that if they need to.
And also the combo with Botman on that Genji is also available. Dane does have ult available, and he does have a wicked aim. Manages to take down Natsukage at the very beginning of this fight. One healer out of the equation.
Oh,
that'll
man.
be the Deadeye. Manages to finish off Botman as well, as this will be the push coming through. Quackers once again breaching straight onto point. This will be quite close now, as that will be Quackers getting a kill for himself. Doctor does trade off another, and this is gonna be the game taken for Quackers on No Mercy's home map.
That is extremely impressive. Quackers 1 and No Mercy 0 now. This first map has been full of surprises at this point. I think, honestly, my two mentions for best players in this game were Leah with those reses, first and foremost with those reses, and Dane on the McCree. He really turned it around for his team when he switched.
Dane, of course, was such a highlight there. Incredible aim from the hit scan, and one of the things we did mention earlier, Dane is a hyper-competitive member, according to Natsukage as well. If we do have that wrong at all, Dane, do feel free to find me on Discord and come flame me a little bit. I'm
cool.
fine with that. But with these hyper-competitive members, that competition perhaps driving him to really warm up and get into the game very quickly, and he proved that there. Definitely a an incredible showing from him, and also, as you mentioned, Leah, very impressed with her positioning and the healing that she was able to provide.
On the No Mercy side, I really do have to commend both of their DPS picks, though. They did an incredible job. Honestly, I think that Quackers wasn't really respecting Doctor's space, like, as a soldier. They weren't really, taking him as a threat and prioritizing damaging him first. But also, like, they were just giving him too much room to move around and do what he wanted. So in the end, it like came down to Doctor getting so many kills specifically because they weren't exactly, respecting his ability to come in and wreck. But in the end, Quackers did shut them down with those crazy reses coming out of them. It looks like one person is missing from the lobby now, so we may have a little bit to wait. But
Unfortunately, Leah has dropped out at the second. Some extra commitments or possible connectivity issues coming through. Didn't really show in that game if it were connectivity issues. But in the chat, I'd like to point out Timu. No Mercy could have tried a dive comp. Genji Farah focus down the McCree first and then get onto the Mercy, which is something that we do actually see a lot of the more coordinated teams pull out and also can definitely work.
yeah, we tend to see dive comp a little bit more in the higher divisions, but I would love to see it come out of them. They could really, really do a lot of work coming in there using like a Winston, Farah, Genji, going in and taking down the priority targets really easy. They do have the Genji, and the Genji should be jumping the healers a little bit more, I think. He definitely was focusing on the DPS, which, I mean, is a good target. The DPS do a lot of the damage, but if the healers are gone, especially Leah in that last fight, then really they wouldn't be able to do anything coming back to that.
Definitely the case, and once again, as we do have to point out, Quackers with that win there, going 1-0 up in the series against No Mercy, going to be beating No Mercy on their home map. Just a quick confirmation on the issue we are having at the second. One of the players has dropped due to connectivity issues, so we're going to have to take a very quick production break, and hopefully we will be back very shortly whilst Quackers are going to be finding a sub going into the second game.
All right, we will be back in a minute. Hope you guys are having a nice time. Hello, and welcome back to the stream. It looks like we have everybody in lobby now. We do have a replacement for Leah, the Mercy on Quackers, so I think we should be able to go into the next map pretty shortly. So, we have had something come up in the chat that we were asked to go over. It said, can the casters give tips on how to counter Mercy? Would be nice info for myself too, from Timu. Well, thank you for the question, Timu. But basically, with Mercy, you want to counter her either by having, like, a nice hard dive so that you can go in, take her out before she even becomes an issue. Or, in cases like these with the Death Ball comp, you will have, your 2 DPS ultimates. If it's a McCree, it, doesn't really matter. You'll be using him as the introduction ultimate. But you will have 2 different ultimates in this case. You'll have an introductory ultimate where you get down everybody the first time. Like, you can use McCree for that, you can use Soldier for that, you can use anybody for that. It doesn't really matter who you use as long as you're, bursting the people down. But if you can get 2 or 3 picks, generally you can force a Mercy Rez, and then after that you'll use the secondary DPS ultimate like Genji, Soldier, whatever else, so that you can get everybody else down again. I wouldn't recommend using McCree for your secondary, DPS ultimate for that, but it is a great strategy for getting her, worth out of the game, because you'll be using 2, ultimates to do that, but in the end you will be countering them pretty hard with that, and that will take down an entire team if you can pull it off properly.
I think Mercy's a very interesting talking point as well, just because when you look at it, there are 2 different ways that teams can really, or at least bad teams can deal with a Mercy. So they can either not deal with the Mercy at all and the reses will keep coming through, or some teams have been known to overcommit for that Mercy, which is also something that's just equally as bad, because once all of the fire is focused on the Mercy, everybody's vulnerable to counterplay from elsewhere.
Well, there's a lot of things with Mercy, but basically, like, with her ult, she is the master of the ult economy in teams that don't know how to deal with her properly with, using their ults, rationing out their ults, or how to, like, burst down the team themselves and then use ults to finish when she reses again. Basically, her one ult can counter as many ults as you throw at her that she can live through. So, no matter what you do, if you use 2 DPS ults, if you use a Zarya ult with it, and you just don't happen to catch that Mercy, her one ult cancels all 3 of the ones that you spent maybe like 2 or 3 minutes building up. So, it's really, she has a huge advantage, and you have to counter her properly, but if you overcommit to her, you can run, the error of, oh hey, my dive is so hard that, like, we're all just dying before we can get the Mercy down because we're not focusing on anyone else at all.
Exactly the case. And onto the game at hand, however, we are going to be seeing Quackers going 1-0 up against No Mercy. We're heading over to the Quackers home map now, and the teams have got quite nicely started for us and ready to go as we're back onto Route 66. And thankfully we were talking about the Mercy because we're seeing 2 more in this game. Farah and Mercy going to be locked in from the defensive side of No Mercy, as it looks like once again the payload just being pushed towards Big Earls. Now we've got No Mercy dropping down. Doctor does get hooked out from the sky there, so Quackers are going to be going up in an advantageous position here. But that's Diva Mech also traded out, so still fairly even here at the moment as we're just waiting for the action to kick off. The contest is coming through onto that payload, and it looks like Emerald Sun's just going to be swinging around wildly here, trying to make sure that nobody comes near his payload. He's like grumpy old man, get off my lawn. But that aside,
that's Soldier's job.
So, well, Soldier's doing it from a rifle. I think I prefer an old man with a hammer rifle.
Yeah, I think so.
Now taking a look at it, we did see a Lucio ult come through there, and Doctor is going to get 1 trade kill. But this is still slow moving on the payload. Quacker's still pushing this as far forward as they possibly can whilst everything's going on, and Shadow God is going to be really aggressing in there. Does get himself out of mech. And Emerald Sun! That was a brilliant Earth Shatter coming through there. Gets himself 2 kills as a response, and Doctor using that far... Well, perhaps a bit of an overcommit?
Yeah, a little bit, because it was just for the one soldier. I don't think that they realized that like there was only the one soldier around. It seemed like they were like, oh, there's still some people, but no, everybody was caught out by the Emerald Sun's Reinhardt ult. So it was a little bit of an overcommit, but I don't think it's an issue. They do have another DPS ultimate. They also have Decone with his ult. Would have been nice to see those two, you know, mixed together a little bit, but hey, it can come back up shortly. It's already at 10%.
A third coming up very shortly again, as two members have been sent to respawn. Doctor and Botman going to be taken out of this. Going to get rezzed straight back up. Dragon Blade now coming through. Dane looking for that pick on Natsukage, who just flies up in the air, gets out of it. Dane does get one kill down onto Decone. Farah and Emerald Sun will be trading kills of their own as Dane and Twizzar goes down. One more res does come through and it still carries on. And soon enough, I'm going to need some more lungs because we're going in, and Emerald Sun straight back down, gets back onto that payload, tries to find more hammer swings. He's building that ult up very quickly at 63% at the second as Twizzar and Dane gonna focus down that Mercy and just pinch her out of the fight. Farah now looking for Twizzar to get the extra damage down, and that's going to be Quackers using that Lucio ultimate and forcing this fight forward. And it looks like this is pretty much all over as the overcommits are going to be coming through now. And possibly the fight just slowly fizzling out as members of No Mercy are going to be taken down.
Looks like No Mercy still has enough people to come back and commit to a defense if they want to. But I think that they probably shouldn't at this point. Regardless, this seems like it's just been a match of Mercy Rez's, like who can get the best ones with the better timing. And that's definitely interesting for me.
Oh my goodness, the 3-man ultimate coming from there. He does manage to pick out one member as that's going to be down. Falaheim just does try to use the whole hog, tries to push people off this point. It's his payload now, and this is going to be taken, pushing people off and making sure that No Mercy are out of position. That's going to be a self-destruct to try and force an extra bit, and that's going to be Lucio pulled into the self-destruct, and that's a point where your save feels bad, man.
Yeah, that's really sad. I don't know about, you know, using that ultimate so much unless you wanted to just get like a brand new mech immediately, but still, it did work. It got one kill, so there is that. It's more than you get with some Diva ultimates, for sure.
Definitely something we seem to be talking about a lot when it comes to the ult economy. Just using either too much or not enough on the ults, and that's something that teams take a long time to get correct. As the fight is going to be starting once again, we'll definitely have to come back to that point, however, as that's going to be Emerald Sun dropping down from the high side to try and find position with the rest of his team. He does go down at the hands of Shadow Guard, however, so we do have the advantage, which is going to be nullified as Trickset gets a kill for himself and uses those Helix rockets to blow up Trickset as well, pushing in the fight once again. Defensive res does come through. Doctor looking for the damage from above. He has the air control at the second, but that doesn't necessarily mean air superiority. Be forced to get out of position once again. Emerald Sun now using that fire strike, but this is all red across the kill feed once again.
And Dane on that Tracer doing a little bit of work, being definitely annoying for the enemy team. Okay, we do have to bring up the point about the, like, overcommitting on the ults and everything. With this team... Oh, okay. Getting back into the action a little bit. Never mind, we'll do that when there's more downtime.
I think this is just more of a trickle, but that's a very good hook down onto Botman. The trickle is becoming an overcommit here, and once again, an ultimate just used to push this attack in even further. Twizzar getting only one kill with that ultimate, but eventually this will secure them this second point.
It will. Basically, what they're doing is they're using like a lot of ultimates in times that they don't exactly need to. There is ultimates that you'll use to win, and then there's ultimates that people will use to win more. Like, that is what the thing that people use to explain it a lot is. There is a win ultimate, like a win condition ultimate, like if Botman was to use his visor and get 2 or 3 kills. That's
That's okay. Tracer getting blown up. No, carry on, please.
But basically, there is like a win ultimate, one where you will use your ult to get 2 or 3 kills, and then you can use the rest of your fighting potential to, you know, make up for it, win the fight. Or you'll have like a win more ultimate where, okay, getting into the action.
We definitely have. We're going to be resetting the action with that res as well. That's going to be Doctor with a huge rocket barrage. taking out Quackers and Shadow Guard, also getting a little bit of a hand into Botman's kill there onto the Roadhog. This will be a first corner hold coming through from No Mercy as Botman secures another 2 very clean kills for himself, and that was so polished.
Yeah, Botman doing a very good job now. Oh, but that hook!
But the
Great
shield, incredible shield coming through, and that's what we've been seeing Decone do so often now.
Generally, like, Zarya won't have tons and tons of mentions in these because she has a little bit of a less influence until she gets her crazy ult charge up, but he has been on top of it with those, like, shields, keeping his teammates alive, and that is extremely commendable.
Shadow Guard did use the self-destruct there just to get his mech back as quickly as possible. Emerald Sun trying to pump a Fire Strike into the defense matrix as well. Gonna be sad when that doesn't go through. Fullerhain is gonna use the whole hog, however, try to push this forward even further. Possibly gets about a meter out of that before the contest does come back in. Now we're seeing Dane on the back line. He's doing some absolute work back there, and you blink and you miss it like I just did, but Deco and Twizzle are gonna be trading kills of their own. Twizzle using that.
Oh my god, that
from
hook!
The soldier, huge hook coming through, and this is going to continue the fight even further. Twizzle pushing forward even more. Helix rockets gets a kill. One more. Doctor going down. Overtime force as the payload being pushed to the final part of this map.
And
Fullerhain, one hook comes through again. Botman using that tactical visor gets 2 kills for himself as Emerald Sun and Trixet are going to try and wipe up the rest of this fight, but that shoelace is going to be taken out, and that is going to be our first round.
They pushed it nearly all the way. No Mercy has their work cut out for them if they're going to get it that far. Okay, I will speak about the point now because we have time between these. But basically there's a win ultimate, one that you use to win, like, the fight. You'll start the fight off with it, or you'll, you know, in mid-fight use it so that you can get 2 or 3 kills and confirm your place in winning this team fight. But there's also the win more ultimate, where if you're already winning the team fight, you do it to, like, finish it, even though it's not exactly necessary. Or there's the ones where you'll, like, be winning, but there's still, you know, 2 more people. You'll have already used an ultimate, but there's still 2 more people, and you want to make sure that you win that fight even though you don't really need to use the ultimate. You'll use it anyway, and that's a really kind of a waste because your team can play around each other in a way that you will end up doing it properly regardless. But you'll be using that ult just to, like, secure it, and that's short-term thinking on your team. You need to use your ults in effective ways. You need to use your ults in ways that will, like, be conductive to fighting as a team going forward. Not just in a way that's like, hey, let's get these 2 kills now, because why not?
That's one thing we do focus on as well. As spectators, we usually get to see the plays that we remember being those combinations of ultimates. Yesterday, it's going to stick with me for a long time, but we saw a Tracer jump across Eichenwald from the castle onto the bridge to stick a pulse bomb inside a Graviton Surge, securing 3 kills in that one. And that's absolutely amazing. And you see these plays, and you see the combinations, just making sure that ult economy is working. And sometimes you do see a few whiffs, let's say.
There's like a little bit... There shouldn't be more than 2 ultimates in a fight, generally. Like, coming out from your team, unless you need that defensive ultimate to stay alive. But 2 should be your limit. For the most part.
Doctor again is going to be on that Pharah. He does manage to boot the majority of players off the top of Big Earls, but he's going to be taken out of the sky by Twizzle. Beautiful work on that soldier through both of our games so far as well. Now looking at the fight as we're going through, Shadow Guard pushing that shield line forward, and it looks like Emerald Sun sticking on this Winston now, trying to find the dive into the back line. Not finding anything just yet as both teams just brawling around the second corner. Big Earls will also be just a gas station brawl. Emerald Sun gonna be taken out of the fight immediately following that. Fullerhain just follow that up, finishing off a hook onto Botman there. That's gonna be 1 charge coming through, and that is gonna be Kage on that Mercy taken out of the fight, and very clean kills coming from the defense.
We do, on the defense, now have the High Noon and the Mercy Rez, so they are at an ult advantage right now. There are a few ults coming up. Well, there's one ult coming up on the attacking side, with Botman nearly having his Genji ult, and also there's fairly close to a Mercy ult, and I think that we'll see that coming out next fight as well.
Could be seeing Dane using that Deadeye as he does start channeling it now. It's going to be coming out, and he's going to hold that. He does finally quick draw, and that will be taking Trickset out of the fight, finishing that up with a headshot down onto Doctor, pushing this payload still further forward as Emerald Sun is struggling to find a position against the defense of Quackers here.
Botman's been struggling with Fullahane and also with Dane coming into this map.
And Dane is just popping off it. We did kind of miss that, unfortunately, but Dane getting 2 kills for himself. Doctor is trying to prove that he can do exactly the same. Gets 2 kills for himself, but that will be a defensive res coming through, making sure that this hold is even further forward. It was a tempo res was one of the best phrases I heard for it recently.
Tempo res?
Tempo res. Emerald Sun will be trying to push this further forward once again. That's going to be the Earth Shatter. Not going to be making contact with anyone, as that is going to be dodged out of. Botman jumping into the backline as Natsukage trying to use that pistol to any effect he can. Emerald Sun and Botman, however, will be kills for themselves, as Doctor does also get another. Emerald Sun with the Fire Strike, and it's just Twizzle, and there goes Twizzle. Beautiful execution on that attack. 3rd time lucky.
Yeah. Pushing it in with the last minute on their point, and they're going to keep on going and get some more time.
And the execution there as well was one of the things I would like to highlight. They managed to find the approach which worked, and they did have to do a little bit of poking around to find where the weakness was, but they found it and they exploited it perfectly.
There's also one thing to note for the Reinhardt. There is a little bit to be said about standing behind your payload instead of in front, because with that you'll have more ability to sponge your shield, not take as much damage on it, and I think it would be a little bit better for them pushing. You really just need to come out front when the enemy Reinhardt is aggressing your payload.
That cover also being absolutely crucial when playing against players like Dane, who have shown that they have pinpoint accuracy, but no need for accuracy here, as Dane's going to channel that Deadeye once again. Doesn't find a kill with it this time. The ult is going to be primarily used for zone here. That's going to be a boop off the side, however, as Quackers gets Trickset and pushes him off. Fullahane now also joining into the fight. Dane securing another, Fullahane securing another, and there goes another one, and this is going to be another successful hold, as it's just going to be Emerald Sun, going to be Shadow Guard punching around. Emerald Sun does find 1 kill here, but they are incredibly staggered. Trickset does manage to join back up, but that's only a Lucio. Very limited healing coming through as Natsukage finally does manage to catch up. Emerald Sun is slightly out of position with the rest of his team, but everyone's grouping around him instead. Emerald Sun will push this further forward, and we're going to have to see just how this next fight is going to be played. And that's going to be the Earth Shatter to start things off, putting 2 men onto the floor. Decone getting another. Be another Graviton Surge. Botman going to be using that ultimate. The res comes through from Shoelaces there, managing to get everyone back up, and I did hear quite a brutal scream coming off the side of the map there. Trickset pushed down onto the floor. That will be Emerald Sun. Beautiful charge down onto Quackers. Botman going to be winning the duel once again, and Emerald Sun pushing through. Shoelaces caught by that dumpster and just hammered once again.
They have a minute to push it into the end right here, but they're going to get some more time if they can manage to get on. The enemy team may be coming to meet them here, though. We will see.
It looks like they're going to drop straight away. That's the waterfall, and this will be the hook. That's going to be 2.0'd, however. 1 Deadeye will be channeled, does get the kill down onto Genji almost instantly. That's going to be another Earth Shatter. Beautiful. Emerald Sun, who secures 2 kills for his team. Make that 3 and make that the next point as well. No contestation coming in. Everyone's jumped off it, and there it is, as Dane gonna come in and just get himself killed by Trickset.
Trickset getting 2 kills in the end of that. Never something you usually hear. Lucio, 2 kills without it being environmental.
Yes. Coming into this 3rd point, however, this is a much trickier section of Route 66.
It's much easier for the defenders to really take it keep the defense going, and they only have 2 minutes to push in. And with the defense as aggressive as it has been, this may be a hard sell for them to get it in there.
Definitely something we see a lot of in the EU region, very aggressive defenses. And that's a very weird sentence to say, but the defense will usually rush out to meet the enemy teams. Hook is going to be 2.0'd once again. There is Emerald Sun going to be battering around. Natsukage finding the kill down onto Twizzar after pulling that pistol out. Shadow God going to get charged once again, but he's got the healing coming in for Shoelaces. Emerald Sun doesn't manage to shield that one, unfortunately, as Shadow God gets another beautiful Earth Shatter. Tricks that will use your ultimate. Bobman's Genji ultimate as well. One more Rez coming through on the point. One more Earth Shatter, one more commit, one more charge, and that's Natsukage getting one more kill. This will be Quackers trying to wall ride around as much as he can, as Doctor is going to be using that tactical visor, and it looks like this is going completion as we're going to go 1-1 into our third game.
We are going into the first proper third game at the very least of this season.
Now, just quickly updating my notes, but taking a look at this. No Mercy losing their home map. Quackers losing their home map as well.
Maybe they should swap.
Perhaps they should. We are going to have to see who does show the dominance as well. This will be a Pharah play of the game that's going to lead us nicely into Nepal, which is another map which can be so beautiful for these Pharah players.
The good play of the game coming out there. Yeah, I would like to see them, get their ult economy a little bit under control more, but good play coming out from both sides. They're really playing well together, and I have so much credit going up for Quackers with their really aggressive defense, and there's a lot of credit to be said for No Mercy for pushing through that and winning anyway, even through all of these ridiculous reses that are coming out from both sides.
And of course, one of the other things to mention from that, we were talking at length about ult economy, and in that game, we did get to see No Mercy just holding on to those ults and using them at perfect times to manage to find the victory.
Yeah, they were really able to use it right at the end to pull it together. They, with Decone on the Zarya, he knew when to hit that ult because the enemy Reinhardt just hammered down on everyone, and as a save for his team, plus a combination with Botman on that Genji, he could throw down that Graviton, take people out himself, and just get the work done. And no one died to that hammer down because of his quick thinking on that.
Definitely the case, and we did also get to see, credit to them as well, but Quackers put on an incredible defense for that first and for the second point. It's just a shame that they did jump off of the payload at the end of the defense on the second point, doing a little bit of a Cloud9, as it seems everyone's calling it nowadays.
Yeah. Alright, we are going into Nepal for the last map. So, it is down to a best of 5 on Nepal, and please make sure that that is the actual, settings for these. But yes, we are going to a best of 5 on Nepal. It really just comes down to who can pick a better team comp to go against the enemy team on the maps that they're on, or just in general to go against the enemy team. Quackers right now has a very good team comp to shut down No Mercy. They've been doing it fairly consistently through the last few maps, but they just kind of got stumped at the end by a good combination of ultimates and good timing coming out from No Mercy. So I think that at this point they may be able to take it, but it will be a pretty even series, I think. It'll probably come down to the wire.
I'm hoping that is going to be the case. We might actually see it go to the full 5 games as well on this part, because all of these maps do actually lend to a different playstyle when coming into how you approach Nepal.
There are lots of different approaches. You can dive even on control point maps. You can hold them fairly well with a Winston, with a Genji, with a Pharah, or you can just go, more standard death ball and keep together. I think it's probably going to come down to who's getting off the better Mercy ults and who is able to focus down that Mercy a bit better on both of the teams.
Do you think that we'll actually be seeing the Mercies going forward once again, though? Because we see them on maps that aren't King of the Hill, going into... We've actually done a full round tour of the game mode so far.
Yeah, yes.
Coming into the King of the Hill maps. Mercy isn't something that's often favoured as much at the higher levels of play, and can sometimes be quite difficult to make work in these smaller, more confined maps.
It generally isn't picked as much, but both of the teams are using it fairly well to their advantage, and I don't think that they're going to have a change of heart going into the next one. I think that if they were able to play, the Ana and play it very well, they could definitely have an advantage going into this, but the Mercy Rez has been so valuable for both teams that I don't think that they'll be likely to do that.
Definitely the case, but also one of the other things, the healer to pair with them. Of course, there are 3 separate options to go for here. Sheer huge amount of healing that comes. There's the possibility of the aggressive.
You are cutting out a bit.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
There's also the potential of either a Zenyatta or perhaps even the Lucio, which we have been seeing so far.
We've mostly been seeing the Lucio. If we do get a Zenyatta is a very good aggressive pick for King of the Hill. He is very good at, helping teams burst down enemies, and it might be a good counter for them for this Mercy. If they can get it on that Mercy going into the map, then they can probably burst them down a lot faster than they have previously. I think it may be good for them to do that. There's also the Ana, which just offers so much healing and so much utility with those anti-healing grenades that they could just shut down the enemy main healer entirely if they are timing it right.
The anti-healing is something that we really should highlight more often, because to a certain degree that's a huge part of the utility that does come forward, and it can just completely and utterly block an entire play coming through from both teams, as we are here on Nepal now.
We are. Oh man, did not notice that this dropship is MV261 Orca Lena Tracer Oxton. So this is Tracer's dropship. Alright.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's on the front at the nose.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder if the other side has a different name on it.
And here we are learning the maps whilst both teams have actually locked in their compositions. And what a surprise! We're seeing 2 Mercies.
Yeah, no, both of these dropships are Tracers. Interesting. Oh wait,
2 places at once.
I need to change the names. Let's see.
We are going to be coming straight into this now. Both teams are going to be going for the middle push here, and it looks like the bridge control has already been established from the side of No Mercy. Taking a look at what they're able to do, however, on this high ground. That's going to be the 3rd hook coming through, but Decone also getting the counter hook, managing to actually get the kill. 2 kills going in the favour of No Mercy straight away, but this will be a lot of time on to the point already for Quackers. It's going to be D.Va going down next, and D.Va's another hero we've been...
You have cut out again.
I'm not quite sure why my microphone is doing this to me today, but...
Yeah, like, going into this, we do see the... Oh, no, they have switched off of it. They had the Zenyatta pick for a little bit, but when it didn't work for the first push, it has been switched now. And Twizzar now back onto that Lucio.
Lucio is usually the pick that we're going to be seeing in King of the Hill maps, just for the pure amount of speed that he can give to the team as well. Doctor is going to be trying to probe around at the backside. That's going to be Quackers, though, getting already his rocket barrage down. Manages to get the 1 kill straight away onto Natsukage, but this is going to be trades across the board still, as Fullerhane does pick up another one for himself. Now trying to probe around once again. Point has been retaken by the side of Quackers.
Thank you for following. But yeah, going into this fight, they need to be a little bit more aggressive. They need to get to that point. They do have almost all of their ultimates up now, and they can just overwhelm them if they choose to do so. but they'll need to save an ult for when Shoelaces use that res, if she does use that res. They need to catch her off first if they can.
They do have the ability to catch her, but that's gonna be the beautiful interrupt coming through. Doctor's ult not gonna be effectual at all. Gonna be jumping back in onto the point. That will be an ultimate coming out of the Lucio, trying to find a way in. Dane does get the pick, however. Natsukage goes down as Emerald Sun is gonna follow on shortly. Looking at this, Blue is gonna be mounting this defense very well as Quackers hold on to the point for one more push.
And Decone taken down with another hook from Fullahane. This is just really on top of it. Fullahane has been very good this map. Very good at getting these hooks, getting these swift picks to take the fight in the advantage, and getting Doctor's ultimate out of the way so early. Oh, and getting Doctor again!
The hook in onto Doctor almost straight away. That's going to be a defensive Lucio ult forced out from Twizzar here. Shield's going to start depleting after a little bit. Quackers is still finding a lot of damage in the backside. Uses that E to reposition as Shadow Guard going to be taken out of mech. Botman doing a lot of work on this Soldier 76, however, as Decone going to be following suit. Fullahane, Decone once again with the 3 kills on that Roadhog as the point is retaken by No.
It's sad that Fullahane just got taken out when he did. He didn't fully channel his ult, so he didn't lose all of his percentage, but he did lose quite a bit of it, being taken out with that hook and the, shot immediately to his face.
Decone does have the Roadhog ult available to him, however, so there's that potential to defend here. Emerald Sun on that Winston gonna have his Primal Rage available, so you have to think these two space-making ults are going to be doing quite a lot of work on the defense, as No Mercy are going to be under contention once again, coming in from the side of the Quackers. Trying to find extra points here, but no, they're just going to be sticking on top of the balcony, trying to look and probe once again, and I guess that's going to be the key word, because both teams looking for their entrance. Emerald Sun trying to push people off with that Winston, but there's not going to be too much damage coming through, as that's Fullahane getting the pick once again. Rocket Barrage going to go all the way into nothingness, as Quackers only pulling up 1 kill. Shadow Guard does manage to stay on this point, as Emerald Sun looking to do some damage with that Winston ult. Botman gonna be using his ult himself. Finds 1 kill there down onto Twizzar, but that's not gonna be too much else, as the defense is still coming through from the side of No Mercy. They're holding on to this point, but we're now into overtime, and that's going to be our first round.
And yeah, that's it. With No Mercy taking that first point. Botman was doing so much work throughout that match. Doctor, a little bit less of a performance than we've seen him do in the previous rounds, but him and Decone really just picked up the slack. They really could just get in there and do some work, do the damage, and get the kills. Also, there wasn't as many, crazy Mercy Rezes as we've seen in previous ones. The Mercy Rezes haven't really been affecting this quite as much.
Of course, that does draw back to the point that these maps are a lot more enclosed. Very hard for a Mercy to work around and get that slipperiness that she's usually known for.
Yeah. She really needs to either stick outside of the point, but if she sticks outside of the point, she can't exactly heal people well, and it's a big problem for that, because if you're, playing with your team too much, you're very vulnerable to attack, but if you're playing too far away from your team, you're not exactly being useful to them either.
Both teams going to be rushing the point now. It does look like we have the of Quackers getting the advantage here in terms of damage, but Decone is going to be taking down the Diva mech very quick into this engage. Looks like Quackers getting the first bit of percentage put on this board very soon, as Natsukage going to find a kill for himself. Twizzar does trade one back, however. So
oh my god!
That's going to be huge damage coming out of the side of No Mercy.
He threaded the needle on that Mercy hook.
And it's just going to be a trickle here now, as No Mercy have managed to secure the point for themselves, get the percentage on the and force the retreat out of the Quackers.
See, now Quackers needs to really group back up together so that they can come into this fight, because going into this they need to have everyone grouped up so that they can just push on to the point. It looks like we are having a flanking Roadhog on the left side.
Not the sneakiest of heroes. I mean, Road doesn't really look like your ninja sort, but now instead of flanking, let's go straight down the middle, as once again Quacker's going to be engaging themselves in onto Soldier ultimate used here. Twizzar trying to find the kills, but it's Dane who's going to be securing them instead. Shadow Guard does get 2 for himself, and this is going to be the retake coming out of Quackers.
Yep, and Quackers now getting their first percentage on this point, up to 5% now. The enemy team, No Mercy, does have 43%, so they are at an advantage. If they can take this back, they can potentially get it really high up going into the next fight. Or not going into the next fight, going into the fight after that, sorry.
Well, of course, when it looks at it, we have No Mercy with 6 ultimates gonna be available for them. Just... Come on, that 1%.
Come on, now.
There it is! 6 ultimates available to the side of No Mercy coming into the next fights to about how they're going to use this ult economy that is so heavily in their favour. However, 2 kills already coming out from Quackers, going to be stopping this first round of aggression.
And now the percentage is all tied up with Quackers going into the advantage. They need to hold this off. And if they can build up all of their ults, they'll have, you know, the counter going forward for all of these ults on the enemy team. The enemy team may end up getting desperate and just using everything that they can to get that point back.
There's not too much that's going to allow the team to combo here, as Decone is going to probably counter-synergize with the Fire. Might going to be engaged here as Trickset going to use the ult. So Fullerhane does get the whole hog kill down onto Botman. Emerald Sun trades only the 1 back for the moment as the fight's still going on, and Decone does take down Shadow Guard's mech. Looking at this, Shadow Guard still out of that. Going to be booped out at the point of shoelaces. Going to get backhanded, and this is probably going to be the cap coming out from No Mercy again.
And Dane's ult shut down by a well-timed bubble.
And another hook.
2 kills from Decone now. They're starting to get it back. They do have 3 ults going into the next fight. But Quackers does have 2 ults. They have that Mercy Rez, and Shadow Guard has his Diva ult. He could zone them off of the point or get lucky and catch a few of them.
Looks like the rush will come through, however, as Quackers do not want to sit on this. They want to fight, and they want this point for themselves. Fullerhane is going to be getting the first kill, but the self-destruct does come down. Doesn't secure any kills, as it's Emerald Sun going to be trying to weave his way around everyone and going to be taken down brutally again. And we have another retake.
That's the retake. It looks like they're going to be able to win this point. The enemy may not be able to get back in until like the final percentage of the 90s.
We are coming up to 93% at the second, so it looks like No Mercy are going to have to rush in onto this point before we do go 1-1. Emerald Sun are going to charge straight in on that Reinhardt, but Quackers does have the Lucio ultimate. Also using that whole hog. Find anything extra and anything available. Trickset does take down Shadow Guard's mech as Dane is going to secure the pick down onto Natsukage. Point is still available. Dane with the Deadeye takes out the McCree on the other side. Twizzar trying to find Emerald Sun here as Fullerhane manages to execute the opposing pig, and overtime still going to be forced, but that's going to be a little bit of a Death Blossom to finish us off.
You know how hard it was to not make a running in the 90s reference when I said the 90%. It was difficult, man.
Sometimes.
It was difficult.
There's a fine line between too many references and no references at all, so I think it's a good idea. Let's just try and throw some in.
God.
I think maybe last season we did put a few too many Yu-Gi-Oh references.
Yeah, too many of the same thing references.
I never did finish Yu-Gi-Oh in the end either.
Yeah.
That's a sad side.
It wasn't exactly worth it.
We are going over to the game, however, and this will be the 3rd round coming through onto Sanctum. And taking a look at the team comps that we have locked in, it's looking to be a very aggressive, brawly style once again.
Quackers definitely is going to keep on using that comp that was working for them so well in the last map. And it looks like there's some slight changes coming out from No Mercy going into this, going back to their more normal style, except for Decone on that Roadhog still.
Definitely the case, and the balcony is going to be the stage for our first fight. It's been going on for a little while, and oh my goodness! Just as I start talking, there's that two-man fire strike coming down, taking out Twizzle and Shoelaces. This is going to be huge in the side of the Quackers as Decode does get that executing hook once again. He might be a League of Legends character because he's got a death sentence.
No Thresh jokes from you.
It's too easy.
Yes, I know, but still.
Very good start to the fight though, as that's going to be that fire strike definitely catching the side of No Mercy off guard here.
Yeah, that really was what helped them take that point. That fire strike getting to an entirely unexpected thing, just destroying. Oh man!
Why? I was in the middle of a drink and Trickset gets the boop. My God! Beautiful play there from Trickset, who did manage to get the boop onto Reinhardt, securing yet another successful defense.
They're coming back together and they're just waiting for Trickset, or not Trickset, they're waiting for Quackers to come back up so that they can group up and get in there.
And Shadow Guard does not want to wait around. One more boop was attempted, but they're not going to fall for it again. Point is going to be contested. Tac Visor does come down, however, and that's going to be 2 kills with Botman's Dragon Blade. Dane using that Deadeye as well. Does finish off Natsukage's Emerald Sun, going to be flying up in the air and every which direction to secure one more point take for Quackers. Once again though, still the fight going on as Twiz are going to be taken down by Botman. Looks like Philahane does want to say something about this, but Botman is having none of it as he slashes straight through the pig. One res onto the point, however, because Shoelaces doesn't want me to stop here. Quacker's going to get hooked in, not going to die for this one, however. Dane does get the pick as Doctor trades him off. Healer for a DPS at the second, and there goes one more of the DPS as Botman going to take out Twizzer. Shadow Guard goes for a trip off the side as Shoelaces tries to follow and does a little bit of a nice Guardian Angel back.
And Deco's just trying to juggle now.
This is a very long fight going on here. Botman has used 2 Dragon Blades so far in this one fight.
This one fight has been lasting for 46%. And finally, No Mercy taking back that point. They are down Decone, but everyone else is back up and on that point. That fight dragged out through, like, people coming back about 1 or 2 times.
Just seeing a Dragon Blade to engage that fight, followed by a Dragon Blade to finish that fight. That's not something you usually get to see from any team fights whatsoever.
No, it's not normal unless it's like some crazy overtime play. Oh, Trickset getting another boop.
I think he might be getting the medal for the boot card at some point today as Twizzle and Fullerhane are going to be getting some kills of their own. There's going to be another 2 as that will be Quackers taking a huge advantage on this fight. 99% as they are forced into overtime, but they're going to be securing this point as soon as Emerald Sun goes down, and we're still in the game.
There should also be something acknowledged that the medal for exactly what he is doing is the thing that we reference way too much. You've activated my trap card. If you
I feel like at this point we're not even allowed to save a name.
No, we're not. We are not even allowed to like make Yu-Gi-Oh references anymore.
And now we don't have Sindane either. We can't actually reference the fact that we're seeing a Reaper. We're missing out on so many things.
Though this Reaper does have his ult and he has been waiting to use it. I want to see him come in and
God! Assassino, there comes down the Reinhardt. That will be a charge followed up from the Earthshatter as Emerald Sun still trying to find some work. Heroes do never die, Shoelaces. That's going to be Shadow Guard coming back up to get his Earthshatter off as well. No follow-up is available, however, but Dane does get 2 kills of his own back. Deadeye does get another. Shoelaces trying to leash herself here, but she gets splashed across the throat instead as 99 to 99 is still on the board, and that's going to be 2 ults used on top of this. Now we're going to be seeing some more fight come down. That will be Doctor trying to pump bullets into Twizzle, and it looks like No Mercy are going to be taking the point once again, and they are going to still be in overtime. Fullerhane cannot get in here, and this will be 2-1 for No Mercy.
Twizzar held off on his ult way too long. He had that for like half of the game going, and he didn't use it. That could have turned a team fight, even if it was a small team fight, in their favor. But going into the next one, I think he may be a little bit, less patient with it, and that'll definitely help him out.
This is something we do have to address, however, when it does come to using your ult, how many times have you used it and said, I wish I used it a tiny second earlier, or maybe a fraction later? When do you have the knowledge of the exact perfect timing? Because that's so hard to do consistently.
I mean, it comes with a lot of experience. It comes with a lot of, playing the characters that you're playing, knowing how to set up the ultimates for them. But sometimes, an unadvantageous ult will win anyway. It'll help you in ways that not using it and holding off wouldn't, because you may lose a fight if you don't use it that you could win if you just use it and, not wait a little bit longer.
Both teams here coming through high ground apartments, and it looks like nobody's getting any advantage until, when I say that, Fullerhane gets the hook of the Caster Curse coming through to bite me in the backside once again. Botman going to be doing his work onside Fullerhane's backside, however, and that sounds absolutely bloody awful, as that Genji's going to be tickling the bum of the Roadhog, and he does get the kill. Dicone manages to take Twizzar out of the equation, and this is still going to be blue side. This will be Quackers on the point first. Dicone securing the hook to get the kill. Dane has traded even, however, as that's going to be trick set to, once again, we're going even. These guys don't want to listen to what I'm saying, but that's going to be the Rez straight away coming out from that Tsukage to secure the point for No Mercy.
No Mercy really does have an advantage going into this. If they can trickle some of the enemy team as well, then they'll be in a even better advantage going into the next fight. They'll just get some more percentage on it. But it looks like Quackers is being a little bit, careful about moving in, giving up a free kill before their push starts.
Both teams have been very even on these King of the Hill maps so far, and honestly, it's surprising to see because we don't usually get to see so many retakes, and retake scenarios.
No, not usually in the tournaments. It happens in comp, personally all the time, but you don't usually see that coming out of these matches where, oh, okay, Quackers is taking it, No Mercy is taking it, Doctor is taking it because he's killing everyone.
Doctor is just going absolutely nuts. I did look away from the screen for just a second there.
Doctor went in way too deep though.
The one moment you try to make a note and then suddenly somebody pops off. And this is not going to go too well for me, as that's going to be Quackers using his Lucifer and push the team in. Quackers are going to push forward. They do have no shield left, however. Looks like once again, oh my goodness, the charge. But that will be Emerald Sun going down at the end of the day, as Decone and Trickset getting kills of their own. Dane using the Deadeye once again to finish off Botman, as Quackers will take down Trickset, killing off the Lucio doppelganger and prove he's the Alpha Lucio. 80% on this point, as the Quackers have managed to finally get the retake here.
They have gotten the retake. They need to secure this victory, but No Mercy's still fighting it, even with men down. And they're ulting now.
And they're doing what work they can, trading very even across. 4 members have died, 2 from each team so far, as the fight's still going very evenly, as Botman's going to tilt that in the side of No Mercy's favour. That Genji's been a great pick for him, but Fullerhane doesn't want to be outdone, as Decone gets a hook in for himself, but doesn't secure the kill in the end. 28% on the board, and that will be the Quackers going for the regroup.
Botman tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't really matter.
I'm not even sure if that reference cheating anymore.
I don't know, man.
Is there a scale for references that we can use?
I don't know. Is there a scale for cheese and references as well?
There's definitely a scale for cheese. I think that's the amount of audible sighs you get from the Discord channel, as we're going to be seeing Doctor using his Soldier 76, Tactical Visor once again doesn't find the kills as it's Botman and Decone to secure them in the end. Emerald Sun does manage to get one. Swizz are going to be using that Death Blossom now. Does manage to secure one kill, but it's Doctor to be taking him down. Dane! My goodness, the Deadeyes have been on point, and he secures 2 kills to make this an even round.
It's incredible how many kills he's getting off of these Deadeyes, because usually, everybody just refers to it as a zoning ult, because it more or less is. Usually you don't get kills off of that ult, you usually just zone people or die. And he's pulling out kills almost every single time he's doing this, 1 to 3 normally.
And we haven't seen any 4-mans so far, so maybe we'll have something coming up a little bit later as a surprise. Does seem like No Mercy are contesting a point once again. 99 and overtime has been forced from the side of the Quackers. We're breaking it down now, as that's going to be another break it down. Lucio's love dropping these beats, and this will be red point taken. No Mercy are in control here, but No Mercy are taking the fight to the Quackers, and that's going to be a very clean near team fight win. Sorry, a near team kill.
And this will be the game, I believe. Yeah.
There it is.
That's game. It was very close, though. It was a lot closer than I was expecting.
It's almost an anticlimactic way to finish after the sheer amount of fighting that we've had across all of these rounds. As Dane gonna pull out the play of the match as well.
Dane earned it, too. He's done so much with this McCree pick.
There it is, Deadeye also coming out just a split second later, and the Mercy would have died from the invulnerability as she comes out of the invulnerability, but incredible work once again.
Yeah. And both of the Mercies have cards, which is, I think, fair for this match.
No boop cards.
No boop cards. No Mercy, taking the win. So yeah. That has been an interesting series. Who are your picks for this match?
Honestly, I do have to give a lot of credit for the healers, especially on the King of the Hill maps. I said this earlier on, Mercy is very difficult to navigate around these maps, and it's very easy to get picked off. But Natsukage and Shoelaces managed to play that, and they weren't getting picked off overly often. Dane, of course, was probably the very easy shining star there, alongside Quackers, doing a lot of work on the DPS picks. And Dane just going above and beyond, showing that competitive spirit that he has inside him, does a lot of work.
Definitely. Also, Emerald Sun, even though he didn't have too much first-person view time on the stream, was doing a lot of work. He just went in, he knew when to do his charges, he knew when to throw down his ult. He was being very useful to his team the entire time, and you have to be, commended for that. So yeah, this has been a really good match, and we are, again, Energy Being and Douge. This is my channel where I do streams for Overwatch University League tournament matches. I also do personal streams, like other games and things like that. So if you'd like to follow, please do. I would appreciate it. You can also follow us on Twitter at energy__being. And Douge, where can they follow you at?
At Daniel Standel. I'll put a link in the chat for you as well.
Yeah, that's about it. And we hope that you guys have enjoyed this series. If you'd like, to watch more, we'll probably be doing the main stream next week and maybe, another casted game. So, on this channel. So yeah, that's about it for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.